Alright, what is up guys, Nate4 here and welcome back to another movie review, and today we're going to be talking about one of the more anticipated films of the year, that being Black Panther Wakanda Forever, or just simply Black Panther 2, whichever one floats your boat. But we're going to do this the typical way, so like the first half, we're just going to be talking about the overall vibe of the film, and then the second half is when I'm going to give the indicator for the spoiler territory, so if you don't want to watch that, I will give you the indicator, and you can go and watch the film for yourself. And yeah, man, this one was an interesting watch. Alright, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this intro. We're going to dive right into it, and hopefully you guys enjoy it, man. Definitely feel free to drop a like on it, share it, subscribe if you're new. I would appreciate it, and it's free. Alright, so in case you live under a rock, or you're just simply one of those people who is like, yeah, I don't really like watching the trailers, I think they show too much, I just want to go and watch the movie for myself without knowing anything about it, which is fair. The whole purpose of this movie, the main plot point, the main forefront, is it's a tribute. It's to pay respect to Chadwick Boseman, who passed away in real life, and that does play a part into this movie. So it's pretty much just to show everyone's respect and to pay homage to Chadwick, which it should be, in my opinion. I think that was the right route to go. And I'll be honest, I really wasn't even that excited for this movie. And I think that's just simply because Phase 4 of Marvel has just been kind of hit or miss, kind of mediocre, honestly. But I'm proud to say that this is one of the better Phase 4 films. And like I said, I wasn't that excited for it. I wasn't being like, oh man, I have to see that day one. But it made me have questions in my head, like, man, how are they going to pull this off? Like, it's kind of like Furious 7, right? How Paul Walker passed away in real life, so you know they had to integrate that into the movie. It's kind of like that. You're kind of curious on like, oh, like how are they gonna do that? How are they gonna fix that, or like something like that. Same with like Fast 9, right? Where it's like they say, oh, Dom has a brother, or Han is alive, and oh, Brian is still alive in the Fast and Furious universe. So the trailers and watching the movie itself, it makes you kind of curious, and that makes you want to see the movie even more, which was kind of my thing with this movie. I'm like, oh, like how are they going to integrate that into the film? And I think they did it pretty well, actually. It was pretty much what I expected, honestly, but they did it really well. So huge shout out to Marvel. And of course, surprise, surprise, just like every, not even just Marvel movie, almost like every movie nowadays, this is a lengthy movie, over 2 hours long, so it's a lengthier film. And for this one, I kind of understand it, given the story and the circumstances. I can understand. We get introduced to some new characters here, and like I said, this is a story-based movie. So if you're going into it expecting like a big action film, I'd say go and watch Black Adam instead. Black Panther is more story-driven, and it's more so like, okay, how are we gonna go on? How are we going to expand and progress without the king, like stuff like that. So that's pretty much the forefront of the movie. It kind of has the same tone as the first film and everything like that. I don't know, because like with the first film, it was huge when it came out because everyone and their mothers were seeing it. Everyone was talking about it. And when I tell you, people were talking about, oh, it's the best superhero movie of all time. Oh, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. Oh, it's the best Marvel movie up to date. Then I saw it, and I wasn't underwhelmed, but I was just like, it's good, but you guys hyped it up way too much. So this one kind of has the same tone, in my opinion. And I was kind of scared for this movie because it's like, how are you guys going to succeed when you're missing your two biggest stars, Chadwick Boseman, the Black Panther, and Michael B. Jordan as Eric Killmonger? Like, those were like your two biggest components of the first film. And without those present here, it's noticeable. And it's a shame because with the first film, everyone's like, oh, Michael B. Jordan was the best thing about the film. He was the best MCU villain and stuff like that. Or he's just up there with Thanos and stuff like that. So it was pretty much like one of those things where it's like, man, like our hand we were dealt wasn't great, and given the circumstances and everything, I can understand why there might have been some issues, some, delays and stuff like that. So, it was just simply bad luck. But don't get the wrong idea. This movie isn't just serious, depressing tone the entire film. It has humor, it has some funny moments in it as well. And the action that is there, although not as consistent as some of the other Marvel films, it's pretty good given the circumstances. And my problem with Black Panther 2018, the first one, was some of the CGI in that movie looked awful, okay? Like, not great. And it made me wonder, like, Iron Man came out in 2008. That movie came out in an entire decade before this film, and somehow that CGI looks better than what we're seeing right now. And I'm just like, it bothers me every time I go back to rewatch that movie. So I'm proud to say that the CGI in this movie looks a lot better by a long shot. And I know, like, Marvel's been having a thing, like, where a lot of people have been saying, like, oh, they don't give us enough time to work on the movies, they rush us and stuff like that. So Marvel, let's just say quality over quantity, okay? And that's why some people are saying, like, this new phase 4 and everything like that, it's kind of mediocre, it's too rushed and stuff like that, because it kind of is, man. And I hate to say it, it doesn't feel as grounded, it doesn't feel like they're telling a big story here. It just seems like a bunch of random stories put together. But this is one of the better phase 4 films. I wouldn't say it's the best personally. I think this movie is a home run, but it's not out of the park. Okay, this movie is good, but it's not great. And I think there's some room for improvement, but I was overall satisfied with the movie. But ladies and gentlemen, I think this is around the time we should get to the spoiler territory. So if you do not want to hear anything significant about the film, I'd say go and click off right now. Okay, you had your chance. All right, you had your chance. But let me just say this: we get introduced to 2 new characters, which isn't really a spoiler with this one because it's in the trailers and they released action figures and Funko Pops and stuff like that. But you know, Namor's in this movie, Ironheart is in this movie, and I believe Ironheart is supposed to get like a TV series on Disney Plus. I'm not 100% sure, but Namor was really, really good in this movie, in my opinion. You understand his motive, you understand what he's doing, like why his reasoning is, and like you see like his presence. He's threatening. He is a threat. You do not want to get on this dude's bad side. But the ending of this film did kind of make me somewhat not angry, but like, because you're like, how did Shuri best Namor? This guy's been fighting and training his entire life, and she's been Black Panther for like a day, and somehow she beats it. I don't know. You might say brains over bronze, since she is one of the smarter characters in the MCU. So maybe it's plot armor. I don't know, but it's fine. Ironheart had some very funny lines in this movie. When I saw it, everyone's laughing at almost all the lines that she said in the film. And it makes you want to see more of these characters as well, like their action scenes and their character interactions. You want to see more of Namor and Ironheart. I'll be honest, the CGI for Ironheart's suit at the ending didn't look great. That was probably the only thing. It was an interesting design. It looked like something out of like a Power Rangers show, but it's fine. It's fine. There's always room for improvement. And the movie, like I said, it has its lighthearted moments and things like that. And there was only one thing in this movie that really took me by surprise, and that was as a cameo character. You know, it's like the I forgot what it's called. I don't want to call it a dream sequence, but it kind of is, where Michael B. Jordan is back in the film as Eric Killmonger. You see him in a shorter scene. It's a cameo, but it's very effective, man. It took me by surprise when I was watching it. My jaw dropped, and it was a very cool and effective scene, and it makes you miss him, man, because he was like a key component of the first film. He was one of the main reasons why the first film was considered so good. And one thing I will give this movie credit for is it's a beautiful looking movie. It's a really good looking film, and the music, the soundtrack for this film is fantastic. Okay, I would highly recommend that you watch this movie and listen to the soundtrack of it afterwards, because it's fire. They put a lot of work into it. And usually I don't say that about movies, especially Marvel films, but like the first Black Panther film and this one, the soundtracks have just been phenomenal. So huge shout out to them. I wouldn't say this is like movie of the year personally, Um, I think there's better movies to go, but there's definitely worse movies that you can go to. So I think this is one of the better ones. Didn't necessarily blow my mind, but it left me satisfied. Pretty solid movie, and I enjoyed it throughout. Few little minor nitpicks, but nothing that really bugged me too much. So I would say that this movie was a success. I don't really know how it's performing right now, but I mean, it's a Marvel film, so I mean, it's gonna do numbers regardless, whether you like it or not. It's going to. Um, but yeah, you guys gotta let me know your thoughts because I don't want to just sound like I'm, you know, doing personal bias because it's an all black cast or anything like that. It's just simply a well made movie, and I enjoyed it. That's all. And everyone's giving it their best, okay? Everyone's giving a grade A performance, whether they're being comedic or serious or it's their action scenes and stuff like that. Everyone's doing a really good job in this movie, and even the new cast, they fit in really well. Like I said, you want to see more of them, and 9 times out of 10 we will. The Marvel universe just keeps expanding, so we're gonna see them again in the future. Um, but yeah, it's around the same range as the first movie in my opinion, man. I feel like it didn't change too much. It kept the foundation of the first film, but it just switched it up a little bit, just simply because it had to. Um, so in my opinion, it's a good movie, not a great one. I'd rewatch it. It's a little on the longer side, but like I said, it kind of has to be, given the circumstances. But if I had to rate this movie, I would give it like an 8 out of 10. Pretty good movie, man. I enjoyed it. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. Nothing but love and respect. And yeah, I'm in A4 and I am out. Peace.